Hey guys, back with you this week for the part 2 of our 3 habits of a healthy heart, or a healthy Christian heart. So after last week, hopefully a lot of us throughout the week have tried to incline our hearts to God as we went through the week, just not set it on our first day and then forget about it. But I'm sure most of you guys, like myself, have struggled to keep that heart inclined. So I think what will help us is habit number 2. Habit number 2 is going to pick up where we left off last week in Psalms 119, verse 113. Now I'm going to give you guys Bible verses today. You guys watch this on Facebook or YouTube where we put this at, and you have to rewind it. I want you guys to write down these Bible verses. Other than this first one, I'll read it to you, but the rest of these Bible verses, I want you guys to look these Bible verses up and read them. Okay, so that's going to be some of your reading tonight. So, Psalms 119, verse 113, it's right below where we were last week, and it reads, "I hate the double-minded, and I love your law." So I want to break this down to you guys, just this little scripture here. And what I really want to start with is the word hate. And you're thinking, well, what's hate doing in the Bible? We've been, all of us, me and all the kids, I know your mom and dad always say we don't use that word. But I've found in the scripture in the Bible where it's okay for us to hate. And one of the scriptures is going to be Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 through 19. In this scripture, it tells us some of the things that the Lord hates. Okay, so we can have a healthy hate toward these things. So, one of the things that it refers to, and I talked about last week, is anger. Okay, so anger declines your heart. So the problem is we get mad, we decline our heart, and we got to incline it back. And then we get angry, and then we incline it. So we're constantly doing this. So how do we stop doing this? So you have to start hating that anger more, not just kind of hate it more than the way that you like the way you feel for getting your way using your anger. Okay? So this is what, when he's in here talking about how he hates the double-minded, you have to hate those sins more than the short-term effect of those sins, or the satisfaction you get from those sins, those short-term. So in a more blunt way of saying it, you have to hate straying from God more than you like doing those worldly things, disobeying his law. So that's the hate part. So we got the hate part out of there. Now it says, I hate the double-minded. I want to sum the double-minded up by, the way I'm taking this is, like on the cartoons, and you got a little angel on this shoulder and a little devil on this shoulder. It's double-minded. You always have, instead of having that single-minded of, I want to follow God, you have this other side to it. And so you're always being pulled, should I do this, or should I, not follow God, be, selfish? Should I, not like somebody? Should I talk about somebody? So until you truly hate that devil side of, being selfish, and you hate that long-term effect of being selfish more than that short-term satisfaction of getting what you want, you won't actually get this habit down. Okay? So when you start really truly hating those things, that helps you incline your heart. So now I hate that anger. I don't want it. I'm not even going to do things that's going to put me in that position to have that anger. You don't have to worry about your heart declining. And when you do that, you kind of have two angels on both shoulders. Okay, so when you're following God and you're doing all these great things and you have two angels on your shoulders, it's a whole lot easier to keep your heart inclined also, because it's like, well, let's do something selfish, let's get into our Bible, let's do that. You have both these feelings coming through instead of having to deal with that. That's what he's talking about in the scripture, is hating that double-mindedness. So there is a healthy hate. So let's think about those things when we're so I got another Bible verse for you guys. So we're going to go down to, but I love your law. So when we love his law, there is Romans chapter 3, verse 19 through 21. And in this Bible verse, it tells us that the knowledge of his law is knowing what sin is. So if we know what the sin is, we can hate that part of it. And in the Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 through 19, when you read that, it lists off things that you can put on your list to hate. There's a lot of things in there that will help you, but like I said, I want y'all to read this. I want you to work for it a little bit, okay? So put those on your list of healthy things to hate. So when we have knowledge of sin and know what the sin is, and we learn what it is and learn to hate it, we also learn that in Psalms chapter 19, verse 1 through 14, once again, I want you to read this. That's a great verse. I promise you. I read that 3 or 4 times today as I was trying to get prepared for this. It tells us that his law is perfect. So let's get into the Bible, and some of the weeks following this week, we're going to get into some of his laws, and so we can start learning to love his law. So, habit number 1, incline your heart to God regularly. Number 2 is to hate the double-minded and love his law. Those go hand in hand. So work on both of those this week for me. And then make sure that you guys read those Bible verses. I'm going to tell them to you one more time. It's going to be Proverbs chapter 6, 16 through 19, and Psalms chapter 19, 1 through 14. I want you guys to read those for me. Stay tuned till next week when we talk about our third habit. So we'll be talking about our hiding place. I appreciate you guys watching this. Please share it with your youth, and you guys have a great night.